and welcome to the Virtual Reality Interview Series. I'm your host, Nikia Whitaker-Woody, CEO and Event Coordinator for the VA World Conference. The purpose of this series is a heart-led mission. We aim to inspire, motivate, and lift the voices of women who have shaped their paths in the virtual and remote world. When it comes to the style of our conversation, we're committed to being authentic, fully transparent, and maintaining an atmosphere of open dialogue and mutual admiration. So, we're not here just to tell tales, but to share our realities. We want to know the highs, the lows, the in-betweens, and the resilience it takes to keep going. So without further ado, and with great anticipation, let's pave the way for this conversation with warmth and an eager spirit to learn. Hello, everyone. Today, our enterprising visionary is Miss Monika Monk, and she is going to introduce herself.
All right. Hey, y'all. So again, my name's Monika Monk. I'm the owner of Twisted Intimacy and a couple of other businesses as well. Phoenix Crochet Designs, because I also crochet, and co-owner of Mr. J Gaming. It's a card drinking game company. It's really fun. Yeah, jack of all trades. And I say that you have a purpose and you have a passion, right? With your purpose, it's something that you can do even on your worst day. And what I mean by that is, like, if I feel tired, I'm still going to show up and get energized somehow, because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But like, your passions are something that you do for fun. It's your creative outlet and things like that. They could be one and the same, but we can talk about that a little later. And for me, Twisted Intimacy is my purpose. It's something that I stumbled into, and what it is I'm an intimacy and sexuality coach. So I take sensual body movement, I take sexual health education, and blend all of that in a nice little pot. Actually, not a little pot, it's a big pot. And I turn this into something where specifically Black women and couples as well, where you can find love for yourself no matter what stage of intimacy, love, and sensuality you're in your life. And I feel like that's important because, especially in the Black community, we don't talk about this enough. We don't talk about our bodies. We don't talk about how we should care for ourselves from the inside out. And we also don't talk about, like, communication skills, how we could better ourselves in that aspect. Mm-hmm. And that's where I come in, because I'm pretty much sharing my experiences, the research, like all of the things, all of this knowledge that's in my head, and anything that I'm guided to say. That's what Twisted Intimacy is all about. And as I grow, that's how this business grows as well. And as you can see, I'm really fired up when I'm talking about this. And it's one of those things for me that I truly feel that the more that I share, the more knowledge that's out there, the more people won't need things like this anymore. Yeah. Because right now it's something, in my opinion, that's been missing for a long time. So I'll probably be around for a while. Yeah. But it's something that's needed. And my goal is for you not to need me anymore. Mm-hmm. That is the true goal, because I don't just want your money. Money's nice, money helps me, but I really want to see you succeed and be able to figure out these things on your own, because we're all different.
That's true. That is true. Okay, that was a lot to digest, and I definitely am taking it in, because I definitely have communication problems with my husband. So the first question is, as a virtual entrepreneur with a unique and sometimes taboo industry niche, what are some of the experiences you're having?
Taboo and niche is very correct in describing what I do, because a lot of people, like, I guess a challenge would be the assumptions, right? People assume that I'm the one that hosts the erotic play parties, or I'm the one that does porn, or things like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. There are a lot of people that I could probably introduce y'all to that does that, and it works for them. But for me, I'm on the education side of things. I'm on the coaching side of things. My challenge for everyone else is to be more open-minded when it comes to talking about these taboo subjects, because you have to first question, why is it taboo?
Yes.
Especially, again, for Black women, why is it so taboo for us to talk about our bodies and what we experience and some traumas we go through growing up, things we go through in the everyday workplace? It's all connected at the end of the day. So that's challenge number one. Challenge number two is being able to have connection with everything that I'm doing, because when you are niche down, sometimes people want you for a specific thing, even though you can do multiple things. And as entrepreneurs, we want to wear all the hats and do all the things. We want to say, I specialize in twerking, but I could do life coaching too. And it becomes a challenge when it's like with trying to find your customers, because you don't want to confuse them. So I've noticed that how I'm finding that solution is by, if somebody's asking for twerk classes or something like that, I tell them, okay, I teach that. Bam. If somebody is just asking what I do in general, I tell them about my coaching and things like that. And as we start talking about things, that's when I start bringing up, yeah, I can teach you how to move your body. I can teach you about these positions and teach you about toys and things like that. Like, you have to know who you are targeting your offer towards. I learned that very recently.
Yes, that is true. I
And
grew
I would
up
say
in a
one more,
very
yes, yes.
progressive family, very progressive. We talked about sex all the time. My grandmother was a social worker and she worked in child protective services. So it was very important to her for us to know these are inappropriate touches and, you know, it's nothing to be ashamed of. This is your body, that type of thing. We knew the proper words for it, all of that stuff. So I think that a lot of people do have some disconnects, and it rears its head in their relationships because they don't know how to say what makes them feel good. They don't know how to be open with the person, things like that. So definitely needed, especially in our culture.
Right, right. And I think the last challenge I've been facing is just making sure that I am using the correct terminology and can offer the generalized advice, because I'm not a therapist or counselor or doctor. If anyone's taking a class with me, you know, I say that all the time. I'm not any of those things, and I would redirect you accordingly. But what I'm here to do is tell you guys and give you guys the resources to what I personally tried or what I personally have seen somebody else try. Excuse me. Apologize.
Okay.
But it's one of those things where I think a lot of times we try to gatekeep the things that work for us, and we won't tell people until we are fully across the finish line. And like with me, I'm very open about my journey so far. And with me being open, you have to be able to be vulnerable, because believe it or not, that's actually what intimacy means, and how I define it. If you really want to break it down, is being able to be vulnerable. So it's one of those things that's really important for me. And I'm going to continue like researching and gaining the knowledge and posing the questions, because as I like, this is not, just for a little bit of background about me, this is not what I majored in college. This on the flip side of things, I was a computer science major, and I did do human computer interaction. So I took a couple of psychology courses, but that's about it. Like all of this stuff that I've been doing is from I took a sexual health a certification, so I have that, and I've just books, like all the books. And I've just been having to do my own research and having more open conversations with people about like, hey, have you heard this? Or again, start questioning our bodies and why are we prescribed birth control for PMS symptoms, and that's only a Band-Aid solution if it even works.
Right.
So it's, you know, it's stuff like that. But I could continue with that subject. But yeah, but I would say
definitely understand. I know that is one of the major purposes of this podcast and of my business, is to be transparent about what we're going through. I mean, people can see on my timeline all the time when I'm depressed or when I'm excited and when I'm going to all the networking things, so that they can get a real accurate picture of what it means to build your business. It's not you're gonna make $1 million in 6 months. It is some hard, I mean, you could, but it's some hard work before that.
Oh, something. Oh, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. Like, a lot of people want to talk about how they got started early in their entrepreneur career, and they'll talk about, yeah, I was homeless and I was sleeping in my car, and then I invested $10,000 in myself. Follow me now. And now I'm here making 6 figures every year. My question is, you said you were homeless, living in your car. Where do you get $10,000 from?
I
Like,
guess
they don't
he still had good credit. He still had good credit.
look. Maybe, I don't know, but I hate when people do that, because now I know you're only trying to sell to me these get rich quick type of webinars or workshops or course or whatever. You're not really telling me like, hey, you know what? I had to actually work 3 jobs living in my car.
Yeah.
And I had to live a life where it was way below my means, like way, way, way below. And da 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 da. Like, like, I need more backstory like that, because it is very rare where somebody has $10,000 laying around for them to invest. And I know for me, because like when I start talking to my students or clients and things like that, we just naturally start talking about business. I don't know what it is, like, but I love that, how I attract like people that want to start a business or have a business, and they just want, somebody to help massage like the idea or whatever. And I would rather share with people like, hey, you know what, this is what I learned, like, and here's how I got there, like specifically, because I'm not going to sit there and give you advice on something that A, I know nothing about, or B, where I think it might help, but it's just like people just want to give you advice to give you advice about something. It's like that's not really going to help me.
It's
Like,
not constructive and it's not
yeah,
conducive to anything. Yes.
right. Yeah.
Definitely understand that. Definitely understand that. My next question is, I met you on Saturday at a networking event that we attended, and you shared your story about how you chose yourself in this path. So can you give us a little synopsis of that?
Oh, yes, yes, yes. So it was 20, actually, I could kind of take it back. My journey really started, I want to say 2015-ish. And I take it back then because I recently started thinking about, like, actually I was thinking about that event, and I was like, you know what? I actually was on this journey anyway, but it's a lot sooner. But anyways, so 2015, I was in a relationship, actually 2014, 2015, and it was a 5-year relationship. That relationship really brought out my shadows, in the sense of the light that I have was dimmed so much. Like, the person that you are speaking with right now is not the same person that was back in 2014, 2015. And it wasn't until I really got the sign like, hey, you need to leave, or one of y'all going to jail. That, because it was getting bad. I didn't share that part on Saturday, but we were fighting all the time, not physically, but had I stayed, it probably would have gotten to that point. And I had to do what was best for me and what made me feel good. And this is just anybody out there, don't stay in a relationship just because society tells you that because you are in your late 20s, early 30s or whatever, that you need a man, or you need to be married, or you need to have a child and things like that. No, you need to do what's best for you at that time. And I did what was best for me. So I got out and I had my glow up. I looked good. I was starting to feel good, started taking pictures and stuff like that. Then COVID happened. And that really made you go and look at your shadows and be with yourself. So I chose to use that time period to really do a lot of healing. And in that, I was also attending a lot of toy parties, learning about sexual health things. And also my friend had invited me to these workshops where it talked about different things regarding sex and things like that. And I was down to learn, and I was like, all right, cool. But I started putting the numbers together because I already had my crochet business. And this business, like I tell y'all, I did not plan for this, but I saw the numbers in that workshop. And I know how much I paid for it. And the math started mathing. And I started thinking, I was like, wait, people are really paying to learn stuff like this? And I was like, okay, cool. And then I also was taking yoga at the time. And I was like, well, how can we combine all of this stuff together? And that's how Twisted Intimacy was born. Like, it was literally born because I was in a yoga class and it just came to me like, this should be a thing. And there have been a lots of ups and downs with this business, but I am so thankful and grateful to where I am in this business, because I now know what I have to do and how to navigate this, and the things I need to be talking about, and the products and services I should be offering. Because in the beginning, I was trying to make something work that wasn't what I really wanted to do. And the way that I'm going now, like this, it only goes up from here. So that's pretty much how.
That is an awesome story. I want to equate the staying in a relationship that no longer serves you with clients as well. Not every client is for you. All money ain't good money. If it does not serve you, say thank you and move on.
Yes. And it really helps, especially if you are a service-based business. Actually, no, product too, but mostly service-based businesses. If you can have like an application process, that really look, I'm passing on the gems that I learned. If you have an application process, you can easily filter out if a client isn't right for you. And I would definitely recommend, like, let's say that you may not personally want to work with that client, but you may have something that you like, a one-to-one might not work, but maybe one of your courses would be more beneficial. You can do that type of recommendation, because trust me, I've been there. And I usually tell people, like, I know I'm not for everybody. I'm not trying to convince the conservative Christian that you should come and get one-to-one coaching with me, because I want to make sex I want to make you comfortable with saying that out loud. Like, I'm not about to do that. Like, that's more stressful than anything.
Definitely understand that. I have had some days. And even when we were in the networking event, somebody was like, oh, I need a social media specialist. And I was like, I can find you one. Because that is not something I do. No, you have to know how to stay in your lane. You have to know what it is that you want to do and what you're comfortable with, because you don't want to be doing all the things for everybody.
Right. Because you can't say that for my business, I serve everybody. That's not true.
Right. Because you will be tired.
Yes. And frustrated.
Very frustrated. Okay. So what financial considerations have been crucial for you, especially in your startup phase?
Let's see. So right now, I told myself this year in particular, I will be more intentional with what I'm investing my money into, whether it's a networking group, whether it's courses, whatever service, right? Because in the beginning, I was so forward thinking that I was buying toy products. I was trying to create like t-shirts, and also like I was just investing. I was investing in a space with no clients. Like, why? Maybe that's one of your questions. Why am I virtual? That is why I'm virtual. That is why I'm virtual. Because like, you'll get a lot of people that will say they'll come to the things, and then you offer the things, because people don't think like that. Like, they don't think like,
they'd be embarrassed that someone will see them there.
That, or to the fact that just people, may not have either the time or may be one of those customers that will say yes to the things but not follow through. And that's a whole different topic. But financially, I told myself this year I would be more intentional, which 75% of this year I was. There was one instance that I would say I would regret, because I spent a big chunk of money on something and I'm not seeing the return on my investment.
Right.
And I'm going to make the most of it, but I know I'm not renewing, because that I was presented with something and it was literally something else. And I'm just like,
Check your paperwork. Maybe you can get a refund.
no, unfortunately.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know for me this year, my main goal was to get out of my comfort zone and network more. And I did.
Ooh, okay.
I
Okay.
literally did. I have been all over the polar East Coast
Okay.
doing all the things, meeting all the people, just trying to be more comfortable in my skin and more comfortable with my transparency and growing my business. So it has definitely been a challenge because, like I'm going to Vegas. The incidental charge is $100 a night. And I'm like, what? I didn't know that until now. I'm like, where do you do that at? I'm used to $150. So, it's definitely an investment, but I'm trying to be strategic in the investments as well. And they're
Yeah.
working out really good for me, especially being in different professional organizations and networking groups. That training that they provide is awesome.
Right. And that was the other big thing about this too. Because when I first started my crochet business, I had worked with one of my friends who's a business coach, Dr. Kendra Robinson. She a doctor now. So she taught me, like, try to seek out professional groups, networking groups in your area. And I found a good one, and then that got dismantled eventually. But I really like the ones that I'm in now. Like, I feel like, again, it was being strategic about what I'm investing my time and my money into. And like these ones so far, like I do like it. And I'm also getting comfortable with saying that I'm a Black owned business. Because before I didn't like to say that because my audience was not Black. And I was like, okay, if I say I'm a Black owned business, are they going to do business with me? Are they going to feel comfortable? But I started to learn, like, you know what? No, I'm a Black owned business because I need some of y'all to come correct when you talk about things or when you're asking for something. Because I will never forget a pop-up I did, and this is why I kind of don't do pop-ups anymore. But the target audience did not look like me. And it was very interesting that, because I was making dolls, and it was interesting because this little girl came up. I had Black dolls at the time. I think I had a light-skinned doll too. And this little Caucasian girl comes up and really likes my dolls. And I felt like she would have wanted one if her grandma or her mom, because she was standing right behind her, wasn't giving this weird evil eye type of thing where it was just like, you better not ask for this doll. And then she ended up asking me, can you make a doll that looks like me with blonde hair and blue eyes? And I knew exactly, she didn't say the color of her skin, the skin tone, but I knew exactly what she meant. And that kind of broke my heart because I was just like, I mean, I can do that, but what's wrong with the Black dolls? And so, yeah, so it's stuff like that. So I've gotten really comfortable with saying I'm a Black owned business, but I've actually stopped saying that I'm a small business because my brand is going to be much, much bigger. So if I continue calling myself small, I'm not going to get anywhere. Like, I'll do it only for like certain designations and if I got to find something, but other than that, you'll hear me say like I'm a local business or a virtual business or something like that, but I try not to say small.
That's right. Speak it into existence, girl. Speak it into existence. Okay. So again, with your industry and your taboo topic, what type of strategies have you found to be effective for marketing?
Oh, that is very easy. It's a strategy I'm doing right now. If you go on my IG, which is twisted_intimacy, you'll see my face all up and down that page. Okay. So you go there, you'll see me talking about womb health, menstrual health, things like that. Because a lot of people don't realize sexual health includes knowing your body, bodily functions, and being educated in gender identities and being educated in different forms of intimacy, things like that. Like that. That's why I'm like, it's not as taboo as y'all really think. But I talk more about that because I noticed that more people are interested in healing their womb space. So I talk about cycle syncing, seed cycling, just knowing about your period. So like that's the strategy I navigate now because I noticed that that's not getting shadow banned. That's not, getting randomly taken down. Because when I was posting like different twerk moves and things like that, either I get the creeps or social media wasn't letting me be great. So
really? the way Sexy Red them doing it, you can't do
it. Listen, I also have another suspicion that if you don't look a certain type of way and have a certain aesthetic, they will shadow ban you for different things as well. But whole different topic for a whole nother day. Just know that when you look on my page, yes, I do teach twerking. I teach something called Liquid Motion. It's think of sexy floor work, things like that. I'm also a pole instructor, but you won't see much of that on, especially my IG page, because of the experiences I've been having with that. And I don't want that's not why I want to attract clientele, if that makes sense. Like if you're looking for just that, I mean, I can do that, but I'm looking to do more with like incorporate that more with the workspace that I'm doing. So but that's how I've been introducing this what I do into it. Talk about womb health. Bam, it's a gateway, literally.
That is definitely a topic that needs to be talked about because I used to be down for a week, had a doctor's note the whole time I was in high school because I could not function.
Yeah, that's not normal. And I hate that we accept that has to be our normal and it doesn't. Like I used to have a 13-day cycle. Like heavy bleeding, all of that. Not all 13 days, but majority of that. And it wasn't until 2 years ago that I learned how to heal with seed cycling and learn how to work with my body and drink the teas and the juices because it's due to I have a hormonal imbalance apparently. And as I start balancing my hormones and understanding my body more, I'm like, okay, this isn't like mumbo jumbo or something that should be shunned, because that's the other thing too. If you say you're teaching something holistic, people think that it's like something that is again taboo and it won't work. And it's just like, no, it works. And it is that simple. Change your diet, know what your allergies are, because a lot of times when we think of allergies, we think of sneezing, we think of hives and things like that. But allergies also look like cystic acne. Ask me how I know. I mean, allergies look like eczema. I didn't know that until a friend of mine who has eczema had told me that. It made me go get an allergy test because I was again experiencing things with my skin. The type of products we put on our body, how we're washing ourselves, like it's just a lot that we do to our bodies on a day-to-day basis. What we're eating, especially, like we have to make some changes.
Definitely. What is my other? I have a whole list of questions.
Keep it coming. I told you I like to talk.
What steps have you taken to build a sense of community in your virtual world? Are you lonely? Do you have a crew that you co-work with? What steps have you taken to create community?
let me clarify. So are you asking if I have like a team that's behind me, or are you asking if I have like how
Community
I
support, friends that lift you up and those type of
oh
stuff.
okay. Yeah, so I pretty much hit them up, like my current friend circle, or like people sometimes in the networking group that I vibe with. I like hit them up and say, hey, do you want to take a class real quick? I want to test something.
Mhm.
So or like we'll be talking and then I'll be talking about something and they'll ask me more information and I'll send it to them.
Mhm.
And if I have like an event or something like that, like a lot of them will either come to the event or they'll repost it.
Mhm.
Or I mean, I have some people, and I don't blame them for this, but they'll just stalk me on social media where it's like it's in a good way where it's like I see what you're doing
Mhm.
because I got you from the background type of
Mhm.
thing. Like can't be mad at that. So
You can't. Everybody don't want to be on social. Everybody don't want people in their business because they like, why is she posting that? You know them subliminal.
right.
Ain't
It's
nobody
it's
thinking about you. I'm just posting.
It's usually that part. Like, I feel like, especially with my name being Twisted Intimacy, people misconstrue that even, where it's just like, again, intimacy does not mean sex.
Right.
So when people see the name, it's just like, oh, what sex thing are you about to do? It's just
Mhm.
like, we're about to talk about periods. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like it could be like that. So my community, I'm very thankful for them. I'm thankful for the people I've attracted, and like I don't know how they found me, but they found me and were able to help me massage the business, help me massage the ideas and get to the place I am now.
Mhm.
Like Lolita Harlem,
Mhm.
like definitely one of them,
Mhm.
because I remember I just randomly saw, I think, yes, Ken had randomly posted about Lita's very first mixer.
Mhm.
And I just so happened to live like right up the street from the coffee shop. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go.
Mhm.
Let's see what happens. And it's been a connection ever since. So it's just like a lot of people have given me opportunities to grow with this business and even grow as a person. I've been able to do speaking engagements as a panel moderator, as a panelist. I've been able to be in a magazine. I've been able to go on different podcasts because I don't know how people be finding me, but they'll just find me and ask me to be on their podcast. So I'm I'm very thankful for the people that I've attracted so far. Like
Yes.
I'm very thankful. And I know it's going to continue to grow, and a lot of people end up telling their friends about the things that I do, and I'm working on letting my friends or people that are supporting me, like letting them know like, hey, when you're telling people what I do, it's okay to give them my website or give them
Mhm.
my socials and things like that. It's okay. I am fine. You could, if you tell me first, you can even give them my number,
Right.
because for whatever reason, again, I think it's perception.
Mhm.
And even though I'm not an erotic based business,
Mhm.
people want to assume the worst for whatever reason, or
Mhm.
they want to feel like, oh man, why is she gonna teach me how to ride? I know how to do it, but when I show you, like, look, I had a knee surgery. This is what you can do to relieve the pain. So, it's one of those things where you just never know what
Mhm.
advice or what you will learn or get people you'll get to know that will be able to help you in your future with my workshops, retreats, all that stuff.
Mhm.
So
Definitely understand that. I have been blessed as well. I mean, I co-founded a Facebook group 5 years ago, and we grew that to over 700 people. Now I have a new Facebook group that I'm growing by starting the podcast and doing the event. So definitely I'm blessed with the connections I'm making and all the things that I get to do that I just love doing. So definitely understand that. How do you or what do you do for continuous skill development?
I kind of talked about it before, but I I read a lot of books.
Okay.
Amazon has been my best friend. I don't know how I can get it, and I don't like digital books.
That's what I was about
Uh,
to ask you. Are you a paper or are you digital?
Paper. When I say I had to buy another bookshelf, that's how many books I've purchased within the past 2 years. Because I'm very serious about what I'm doing, and I want to be I don't want to just take somebody else's course to teach me the things. Like, I'm going to verify what you just said, because what I found is that because a lot of these courses, if you look, they usually reference, or they should be referencing, where they're getting their material from. But again, that's a whole conversation for a whole nother day on how to build your platform.
That is true. Always cite the credit. Always cite the credit.
It's that part. So what I've been doing is going back and rereading some things, and the stuff that I'm reading, sometimes it's conflicting to either what was said in the course or what's said in this in another book on the same subject matter. So for instance, I was reading one book about when you should count the first day of menstruation. I read another book that said something totally different. And it could lead to controversy, because starting from the day that you spot as your day one versus starting from the day that you have your heavy flow as day one are two different things.
Yeah.
Because I could easily say, oh yeah, I have a 4-day cycle, and that's not true. Because if I still need a liner or something, I still count that. Like I don't like that. I don't like that, especially with the title of one of the books. But anyways, but it's stuff like that. So I read books. Also, with me being, and when I say sensual body movement, I know a lot of people are like, what is that? So think about your twerking, think about pole dancing, think about liquid motion, which again is like sexy floor dancing, and a lot of moving with your pelvis and things like that. It's fluid movement. It is beautiful. But I get these certifications, and when I say I get these certifications, every certification that I have received, I earned. And I mention that because, again, this was not anything I planned to do as a business. So me saying I earned every single one of these dance certifications, if I talk to a 15-year-old me that got picked on because I had 2 left feet and no rhythm, quote unquote, it's just like, you know what? Look at me now. Yes. So I continuously do that, and I do my best to make sure that I'm practicing what I'm preaching. If I'm not moving my body, I'm about to cuss. I will not teach you to move your body. I easily will tell a client, like, hey, I know we're supposed to move today. I can't do it. Not today, because either I injured myself or if it doesn't feel right to do it right now.
So I don't know how to twerk. I don't know the sensual stuff. I just don't do that. All I got is in me is the drinking the 2-step. That's all I got.
Drinking the two. Look. It's. I promise you. I can show you just one twerk, and you gonna be good. You gonna be good.
Just the drinking the 2-step. You can look at my timeline. It's me and a solo cup.
But why? But I guess I should explain why I incorporate this into what I do. So a lot of times, especially if you're somebody that has a computer type of job, I don't care if you're a developer or you're a secretary, you are somebody that's on your computer 9 to 5. You are living a very sedentary lifestyle and need to move your body, because what ends up happening is we'll either be sitting like this. Oh, and even me doing that hurts my neck. So, we don't have a good posture. We're not moving our bodies around. And what ends up happening, energy gets stuck. Energy, because we're not meant to be doing this. Not like this. And because of that, we start getting aches in our hips. We start feeling like a lot of stagnant energy, and it can manifest in different ways. You might have achy joints. You might have trouble digesting things. Like it shows up in whatever. So I use fun ways to move your body, because for me, going to the gym don't work. It feels like a chore. It feels, and when I tried going to the gym, because again, this is based off experience, I felt very intimidated, but also frustrated, because that gym culture ain't for me. And if you gonna side eye me because I'm waiting to go on the machine that you've been on for a good 30 minutes and you literally hopped off or about to hop off, but you see somebody and you just stay on, that's childish. We too grown for that. Like, no. So I like to do a lot of these movements because you will have a nice body. I promise you, because you use your legs, you use your core, you use your arm strength sometimes. Definitely for liquid motion, like it's full body. And it's so important just to move your body, even if you have to do hip circles every day. That's what I recommend if you want to start light. But that's why I incorporate this into what I do, because we are not about to be in our 60s or 70s having to utilize different things because we lived a sedentary lifestyle, and that's what happens. Like we don't have these conversations about how do we prepare our bodies for when we get older.
Yes,
because I don't necessarily, and I know some things can't be prevented, but I want to do everything I can right now to at least say that, you know what, I tried everything I could.
right. Yeah.
So
Definitely understand that. My daughter is 22 and she tells me every day that auntie is too old. And I'm like, what you think about me? I'm 48. Like, what you think you got over me? I mean, she does, but what you say it for? Okay. So, what has been your most empowering business experience?
I want to say it was the most empowering. Okay. I have two. One is the first one I can think of was actually at the first BCN conference, because that was the first time I was asked to be on a panel. I think it was. Well, in that big platform, let me put it like that. So it was very empowering for me when I was talking, because I didn't know this at the time. I had the mic, I was just saying what I had to say. But it was very empowering for me to hear the audible in the room. When I forgot what I said, but it was so impactful that people, like, after the conference and stuff, had hit me up and said, you know what, I did not know what you did, but the way that you talk and what you said, it was very, I understood where you were coming from. And I love when people do that, because I know that, like, what I'm talking about, like, it's not I'm not an imposter. Like, the subject matter that I'm an expert on, like, I'm actually an expert on, like, it's so amazing. And then I think the second one where I felt the most empowered, it actually happens with clients. So it's multiple instances when this happens, but when my clients would say things like, Monika, I tried the thing that you said and it actually worked. Or like, you working with a client and you're working with them for like 3 months and you see the shift in energy. And on your last session, they tell you, Monika, like, I've been doing what you were saying. This is my feedback. I really enjoyed this, because what I try to do is I try to cater to your learning style. So if you're somebody that is a PowerPoint type of gal, all right, we're going to use a PowerPoint. If you're somebody that just wants to talk, we're going to talk. But I'm going to, or if you're somebody that, you need a worksheet or something tangible or something like that. I haven't had somebody like that just yet, but I have the things because I am somebody that I like tangible things. So that's also why I have all the books. But it's something that it's fulfilling to know that what I'm doing has impacted somebody to the point where they're like, oh yeah, I tried that thing and it worked. And my partner, like, noticed the difference. And I'm just like, what do you think I was lying? So it really warms me when that happens.
Yes,
sure.
I've been getting a lot of that too lately. Just doing all the things and everybody, DMing me or hitting me up in my Facebook group and saying, I see you doing all the things. I'm so proud of you. You inspire me. That's a great feeling. I mean, I'm a humble person, so I'd be like, I ain't doing nothing. But like I am doing stuff. When I look back at my timeline, it's like, girl, you was in DC this week and you was in that week. Girl.
Right, right. And kind of to your point, it's really interesting how much people are watching you
Mhm.
that may not tell you at the time that they saw the thing, but when you hit them up or y'all go hang out or something, they're like, "Yeah, I saw you were here and you're
Mhm.
doing the modeling too." And, oh, I also model as well. But and you're doing all the things. Like, I'm really proud of you. Like, and I'm just like, thank you. I
I
didn't.
know. I always get the where you going this week?
Right. But it's really
DC.
really rewarding.
How do you handle setbacks and keep yourself motivated?
I pivot. I know that's like a popular term,
It is very
but
popular.
but for real, I really had to learn the art of being able to handle things that are within my control and let go of the things that are not in my control. Because especially as an entrepreneur, we think that we have the best service or we're doing all the things correctly, but if we're not seeing the fruits of our labor, imposter syndrome, anxiety, stress can all creep in.
Yes.
And it will have you talking yourself out of your business.
Yes.
And when that is about to happen, what I personally had to do for myself is ask myself, who have you helped so far? What opportunities has your business brought you? Like how much of an impact have you made on other people? Because when I started going through the list, like, and I'm not definitely not trying to brag here, but I think about the platforms I've been on.
Mhm.
The same platform I was on, one of a couple of people that are in, I guess, the same industry as me, as people that I would look up to as like a mentor or somebody that I would follow and get advice from and things like that. They were interviewed on that same platform, answering the same questions I was asked as well.
Mhm.
So it's like, again, I'm not trying to brag, but a lot of people have seen my light.
Mhm.
A lot of people, even though it may not feel like like this is the business, right?
Mhm.
But a lot of people have seen it. And again, it's one of those things you have to start asking yourself, that find the gratitude in what you have currently doing. And if you haven't even started, work with a coach, work with somebody that is able to help you massage your business,
Mhm.
help you figure out, well, okay, what are you good at?
Mhm.
What is your true purpose? What is your reasoning for doing things? What problem are you trying to solve?
Mhm.
When you narrow that down, maybe you shouldn't be selling the t-shirt. Maybe you should, like, let's take awkward networking.
Mhm.
Maybe instead of selling the t-shirt, maybe do a workshop on how to network for the awkward networker.
We just did
Like it
that.
will. Yeah, well, yeah. That's called back to the BCN workshop on Saturday. But like, you have to learn how to pivot,
Mhm.
because if you continue, what is it? What is the definition of insanity? Doing the same things over and over and over again, expecting a different result.
Mhm.
So in this instance, we have to do something different. You have to try and figure out, like, okay, if this is not working, let me go back to the basics and figure out, like, what problem am I really trying to solve?
Mhm.
And what work am I willing to do, where if something were to happen to me, knock on wood, how can my business still be sustained?
Mhm.
So like, as you can hear, I have experience with this, but
Yeah.
like, so these are the questions that you have to do to navigate through any challenge and
Yeah.
setback, because it happens. Oh, trust me,
Definitely.
there have been a lot of setbacks.
Yes,
I
I recently had one. I planned my whole conference, but I used my own money to do it. And I literally was bankrupting myself. My business was bankrupt. My personal bank account was bankrupt. And there were no ticket sales. And no matter how hard I was trying, nothing was moving. And I had to literally take a step back and say, you know what? This is not going to happen. I was defeated. I really was. But the next day, I had a whole new plan and I was back at it. So yes, we got to think about what our why is, and how we can pivot and make it better. Definitely.
It's interesting you bring up your conference, because you had brought that up at the training too, and I was like, man, two peas in a pod, because I'm having a retreat in November 10th and 11th, and it was going to be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Found the hotel, was trying to plan all the things, but I was meeting so much resistance with trying to plan that retreat that I was like, you know what? I'm gonna move it here. If I move it here, I am pretty sure that more people will be inclined to attend because it'll be cost efficient. Because I gotta respect my customers' pockets.
Right. Yes.
But also I had to get back to, why am I doing this retreat? And part of it was to celebrate the 3rd year anniversary of Twisted Intimacy. But it was also too, like when you host a retreat or a conference, you don't just host it just because you want to. Right. Usually there's some type of offer. Look, I'm behind the veil right now. So usually you want to plan for some type of offer or service, or you're launching something. Like there's typically a purpose and reason behind the retreat itself. So anybody that plans retreats will always remember that. But for me, I was like, you know what, having it local, it will help more people understand what I do. This will be the first in-person event that I've had in 2 years. And a lot of people have been asking for this. So if you in the DMV area, I'm just saying, you might want to come, because I will say that I'm not looking to make any money from this, for real. Like, and I'm being quite honest. Like, this is to show y'all, like, look, I've been telling y'all, the people, I got the reviews. Now come experience this for yourself. And it's the value of what you're getting and what you're paying. I promise you, it's not the same.
Yeah, that's a similar model that I have. I just want to break even. I don't want to profit. I have a job. I have my own business. This is truly to build community and give you the support and resources that you need while you're building your business, and even after you're building your business. So, I mean, the whole purpose of my conference in real life is to introduce you to other people in the industry that you may not have access to or knew about. And that's how you build community.
Exactly. Yeah, there's always a reason and things like that. And again, I'm a community mindset type of person. So every business that I mention, the people that are there, I'm giving them the opportunity to talk about what they're doing. If I'm wearing their products, I'm like, well, smell me, or here's what it looks like, or the pictures that I've seen that I have on my website, like, that's my best friend, but she's also a photographer, a very good one at that. So it's one of, there is proof that I've utilized these services, and that they're not just like, oh, that's just my friend. Like, nah, these are actually good products, like, or a good service.
That is true. Yes, we always want to support our friends because we will want the support as well. How do you perceive the future of remote work, particularly for women of color?
Okay, that's going to be interesting. And I say that because I think pre-COVID, it was anti-work from home. Especially if you do anything with the government, it's anti-work from home, for real. I think with COVID and what happens with the lockdown and things like that, it did introduce a work from home culture. However, I think that it's a weird mix of, we have Zoom fatigue, yet people are still a little uncomfortable with being outside, to the people that were so cooped up that it's just like, I just want to go in the office and I want to just do the things and be outside. So when you have that mixture, I foresee, and what I'm seeing now, it's creating resistance for everyone to go back into the office. But it's like the people that want to work from home are going to have to kind of fight for it. That's what I perceive. However, I really feel like we missed the opportunity to really have a hybrid type of culture. But you know, we can't change the past, and I feel like we just have to figure out the best way to make work from home more comfortable for folks to understand. And also too, if people are feeling like they need that social interaction, that human to human interaction, that we provide that space as well. Because I do understand, like I work from home right now, so I don't see people too often in person, and I know that could drive some people crazy. But for me, this is perfect, because when I was in the office, I promise you, I got sick a lot more because people would come sick. And it's just like, if the pandemic didn't teach us anything, it should have taught us to slow down. And we haven't learned that lesson. So that's how I foresee the future. I feel like they're going to force us to try to go back, but we're going to have to fight to stay work from home.
Yeah. I work from home 4 days a week. And I like going into the office basically because I can start trouble and I get a custom omelet. We have a cafeteria where your food is made to order. And so I get a custom omelet every Tuesday. And that's just perfect for me because all week long I don't eat breakfast.
Right.
But I think that the future of remote work, particularly for women of color, can teeter-totter, or what do you want to call it? Seesaw, because we have those women who are passionate about wanting to do something other than have a job. They want the freedom, they want the flexibility, but we also have those people who want the money and are competitive instead of collaborative. So that part is going to cause a problem, and I don't know how we can fix it, but I'm working on it.
So that, I don't know if you've seen this TV show called, and it's based on a book called The Other Black Girl.
I did see the preview. I haven't seen the program.
Watch it, because I feel like I guess what that question was really asking, well, that kind of is what it looks like. Because I mean, I've been in my 9 to 5 for almost a decade now. And what I have learned is that if you are the only one that looks like you in this, regardless of who you are, if you're the only one that looks like you, and then somebody comes in that may be younger or something, or just not in the same age range as you, I do notice that it can get competitive, but it's typically one-sided. It's like one person feels this way, and then it gets weird when you try to address it, because it's just like, yo, like, why are you doing that? Like, I could give a good example. So I used to work, this was before pre-COVID. I was in the office and stuff, and it was me and another Black woman on the same team. She was about like 10 years older than me, and she was known as being like the angry Black woman, around the office. And because of that, when I because I was on the team first, like when she was moved to our team, like it was kind of like up in the air, like, all right. But as like, she and I are friends now, but I noticed that she would do things sometimes where I would question, like, why did you do that? or why are you saying this thing
Mhm.
and you're not addressing it with me? Or
Mhm.
like, it was just, it will be weird things, like really weird things that I don't think that she would be doing to other people,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Definitely. I work in an
But
office too.
and then like other people in the office, that because we were like the only two
Mhm.
Black women anyway, they would get an assumption about how I would respond to things.
Yeah.
And it would just be like, no, why would I respond in that way? Because again, when you are a Black woman in particular, not even a woman of color, when you're a Black woman, for whatever reason, we get ostracized a lot more. And whatever we do, it's like if one of us do it, we all have to do it.
Right.
Even with my natural hair,
Mhm.
like those awkward conversations and those microaggressions. Like I promise you, it's definitely been a challenge in the workplace that we have to not see each other as I'm about to quote oh goodness, oh goodness, we shouldn't see each other as competitors,
That is
right?
that is true.
But we should really work with each other and make sure that we have each other's back in some sense, right? I may not know you from a can of paint,
Mhm.
but I'm not about to throw you under the bus to make myself look good.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Yes. I work with a staff. Well, I've been at my position for 12 years.
Mhm.
No, it's 17. And I am the senior person. And
Mhm.
I know it. I'm the rock star. I'm totally comfortable. I know how to do it all. And sometimes I feel like I'm trying to share the knowledge, and I'm trying to be that person you can talk to and help you out and mentor you, and they just be looking like, this is just a job. I don't know why you're in my face. So I definitely understand the some people are just there for a job. And you
Yeah,
gotta let that be. And so, the competition, I guess they make it up. They just make it up because they need something to do.
yeah,
They
yeah.
don't have they don't know how to take this person really wants to be a resource. This person is being nice to me. They don't know how to take that.
Right, right. Cause and I will say like the job, well, that project that I was on at that time with that company, there was already competitiveness within the project and in the companies anyway.
Mhm.
What made it worse was the fact that I feel like she was more privy, like not just her, like people just more privy to certain conversations. So performance wise, I feel like things were happening to make you should try to make other people look bad so you could shine and get that promotion. Like that was part of the culture as well. But I know I had and it wasn't somebody that was Black that did this.
Mhm.
Um actually I could have had a whole loss. I could have sued this couple. Oh my God. Don't get me started. Oh, but that happened. And I feel like it happened because, again, they saw me as the young Black woman on this project or on this team that you could throw under the bus and get away with it.
Mhm.
Very
They
incorrectly. Like,
underestimate us all the time.
oh, trust, oh, trust, oh, trust. Cause, and I'm not embarrassed to say this, like, um, they tried to serve me a pip. But when I went to the lady that was between like HR and the project
Mhm.
and told her my side of the story, when I tell you this lady, so determined to serve me this pip, so determined. The look on her face was that of horror. Like when I say horror, like there it wasn't a I should if for anybody that is in a 9 to 5 type of space, when you see people not mistreating you and not treating you right, or they're saying contradicting things about your performance,
Mhm.
trust me, go to HR because I
Yep.
promise you, this lady, she moved me to a different team immediately. It wasn't no if, ands, or buts. It like immediately because there were several HR issues that I was bringing up, but it was my first job. I didn't know that those were the things you're supposed to go to HR about. It wasn't even a conversation with your manager.
Yeah.
It like I should have went to HR. I could have sued. I really could because she covered it up essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah. But anyways, I really hope that and again, with a lot of the work that I'm doing, I'm trying to teach people these soft skills as well. Like, have a community mindset. If you can look out for somebody, share the resource. You don't have to gatekeep. You don't and you also don't have to do everything by yourself.
Right.
You know, like, but we don't get taught that. So that's also something that I try to sneak in.
Yes. I have an associate that has a company based on bartering. So you don't have to have no money. You work it out together.
Right.
Make it mutually beneficial.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Okay. This has been a great conversation.
Yes, it
So,
has.
my last question is, can you share one piece of wisdom or inspiration for our listeners who are about to start their own journey?
Well, what kind of journey? Business journey
Business journey.
Okay. I would say this, if you're trying to find your purpose or however you want to describe it, the meaning for why you're here, you're not going to find it. Like, it's not something that you necessarily seek. It's something that you happen to stumble across that that will come to you in the right moment in time. And I know that may seem cliche, but I promise you that it's the best piece of advice I can give. Like, don't try to seek it, it will find you.
Mm-hmm.
And it typically is something that you're naturally talented at.
Mm-hmm.
And that you can do even on when I say your worst day, I'm talking about you have no energy, you just over the whole day, and then you get a client sign up, or you have a networking opportunity to talk about this business, and then all of a sudden you just fired up, you passionate.
Mm-hmm.
That is your purpose. I promise you it is. And sometimes it can look like your passion, but again, you just have to figure out what works for you. Because I'm really good at crochet. I'm a beast at it. But I know that's not my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's not. Because if I get too many orders, I get very overwhelmed. And like, I'm just kind of over it. I just put down my crochet hook.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to really figure out the things that you're naturally good at, because that's what's going to come easier to you. And you weren't gifted those things to not put them to use. Ooh, I like that.
Okay. So I want to say thank you to our guest, Miss Monika Monk, and remind everyone that we're not just talking, we're sharing, growing, and reshaping the narrative. So let's shine together, and we will see you next time. Well, I'll see you next time, y'all.